Hey, this is David D. Simons. Welcome to another episode of How I Discovered My Gift with yours truly. In this episode of How I Discovered My Gift, we're going to be talking about how all effort is not equal. This is going to be a development episode. As you know, or should know, in our show, we deal with the three phases of purpose, which is discovering one's gift, developing one's gift, and distributing one's gift. And so with that said, today's episode, we're going to deal with the phrase, all effort is not equal. When you hear that phrase, you might be thinking, well, David, I'm the type of person that puts in a lot of work. I do a lot of the things that I need to do to be successful in that development phase. I'm going to the gym. I'm working out. I'm reading the books. I'm going to the conferences. I'm doing all these things that I need to be doing, but I'm still not obtaining to the goal that I set in my mind. What do you think is the reason that that person is not able to obtain the goal? We're going to deal with some of these things right now. As we say this right now, I'm speaking from a place of, we have some really, really strong goals, both personally and professionally. And sometimes you ask yourself, is all this hard work that I've been putting in worth it? Is all this hard work that I've been putting in, this effort, going to amount to what I envision in my head? And you get to a real point of doubt. Sometimes you doubt and wonder if what you're doing is even going to work. And I've read countless stories of successful people who deal with this. And this is in your case as you're listening, even as you're pursuing your gift, pursuing your vision, developing yourself, taking yourself to another level. These are things that everyone has to deal with. And there comes a point where you see that, hey, I'm doing what they're doing, or I'm doing the effort that they're doing, but I'm still not getting a result. Here's something I want you to think about. When you're in a struggle, ask yourself, is there anyone in my position right now that, whether you're feeling like your effort is not pushing major results, whether you feel like you're not getting to the level you need to get to, you need to ask yourself the question, is there anyone in my shoes right now that has made it through what I'm dealing with right now? This is what I like to think about. Sometimes you can think of your situation that and feel like no one has ever gone through what I'm experiencing. Nobody understands me. This woe is me mentality. Nobody has had to deal with what I'm dealing with. And the truth is, usually there are people that have dealt with what you're dealing with, and they've dealt with what you're dealing with on a greater level than you're actually dealing with it right now. So that's why I love the Bible. For me, the Bible is reassuring because there are people that have made it through worse situations than I have. Like, I think about Joseph and being sold into slavery by his brothers, and being accused of rape, and being thrown into jail unjustly. I think about Job in the Bible, who lost everything from his health, his wealth. His wife told him to curse God and die. He lost all of these things, and that most people, if they lose one of those things, they're having a hissy fit. He lost like the most major blessings in one's life in a short amount of time, and was still able to persist through. I think about Sarah and Abraham, who waited 25 years for their son, their promised child, Isaac. I think about historic examples that I admire, like Colonel Sanders, who was rejected so many times in multiple areas of life, from relationships to businesses to getting rejected about his Kentucky Fried Chicken recipe, and eventually hitting success at 76. I think about Abraham Lincoln, who failed in various areas as a politician, as in life and relationships as well, and still persisted to become a president of the United States. I think about Martin Luther King, who had to face so many racial barriers and tumultuous situations, and ended up having to give up his life for the civil justice movement, civil rights movement. And I'm in admiration of these people. I can keep going on and on, but this is what you need to do when you're in a position when you're feeling like your effort is not working or your effort is not pushing. It's realizing that your effort is working. I love what one of my mentors, I'm gonna give his example too. Myron Golden says that all work works. The Bible talks about how all work is profitable. It is profitable, but it is not all equal. There's some work that works better. Here are the different types of work that are really key and critical. Leverage work. Leverage work. So leverage work is where you're not just working hard, you're working with leverage, right? It's using a lever instead of trying to do it by my hand. It's using my brain and monetizing my mind instead of trying to use my fingers to get it done, or use my hands. And that's a whole nother conversation we'll have on this show. But it's important to understand that you might be doing work wrong. You might be doing work the wrong way. You're making an effort, but effort alone does not guarantee success. And that's why I use this principle to realize that there's somebody that's been through whatever you're dealing with right now. They have the same problems or worse, and a lot of times much worse. Some other examples are mentors like Eric Thomas, who I think about was homeless and had to deal with hardships of trying to build a brand that he admired to build and become one of the top motivational speakers in the world. I think about Myron Golden, who I mentioned earlier, started out as a trash man to becoming a millionaire and losing all of his success at one point to the IRS, and had to pay up all this money and lost it all. So built it up, lost it all, then came back and bounced back to be the success he is today. I think about all of these things, that the proof of someone succeeding, now this is going to hurt, this is an ouch statement. The proof of someone succeeding with your circumstance or worse is an indictment towards your failure. Oof. I'm going to say that again. The proof of someone succeeding with your circumstances or worse is an indictment towards your failure. So an indictment is showing that, hey, you are guilty because someone else has succeeded with your circumstance. I know it's not probably what you want to hear right now, but I think it's important. It's something you need to hear, that somebody else has succeeded despite all the same drama you're dealing with, despite all the same financial challenges you're dealing with, despite all the different issues you're dealing with, both personally and professionally. There's someone else, even if it's one, that's an indictment, that has succeeded with your circumstances. I'm not being insensitive towards your circumstances. Trust me, I got a set of my own. I just believe that one of my favorite quotes by Eleanor Roosevelt: "A stumbling block to the pessimist is a stepping stone to the optimist." I'll repeat that again. A stumbling block to the pessimist is a stepping stone to the optimist. So the same thing that one uses as a hindrance is the same thing that one uses as a stepping stone to the next level. One says, this is blocking me. One says, this thing is a help up to my next level. So what are you going to use your circumstance to be? Are you going to allow your circumstance to be a blockage to you? Or are you going to allow your circumstance to be a block that you climb on to get to the next step? So sometimes when it comes to all effort not being equal, you have to ask yourself this question too. Am I paddling in the wrong direction? You're giving effort. Just imagine driving. We've all probably done this. You're driving, you put it in your GPS, and you're driving towards a destination. And then you start to realize, this is a different route than I normally take to get to this destination. And you realize, maybe midway through, you'd put in an effort. You were driving. You had your foot on the gas. You're putting the gas in. You're doing all the things you need to do to get there. And you were driving in the wrong way. You were just driving in the wrong direction. So that's why all effort is not equal, because some of your effort can be towards the wrong goal, towards the wrong step, towards the wrong place. And you have to ask yourself, am I really going in the right direction? I know I have to ask myself that as well. And when you start to understand that effort is not the only thing I need to evaluate, I need to evaluate the vision. I need to evaluate, hey, has somebody else been able to succeed despite my circumstances? I need to evaluate so many other things regarding my effort. Am I focusing on the wrong things? Maybe you have a business and you're focusing on all the administrative stuff, but really what you need to focus on in the business is the sales stuff. That's the stuff that pushes the business to grow. And if you're focusing on the admin stuff, you're like, this business is not working. Well, and you're putting all this effort in, but your effort is in the wrong place. Your effort is not in the profit producing activities that generate and move the business forward. Maybe you're like, man, this relationship, I'm trying to make this thing work. Well, maybe you're focusing too much on trying to work on your partner, your spouse, your wife or husband, whoever. Maybe you're not working enough on yourself. Maybe you're just, effort is in the wrong place. So I ask you to think about this, that since all effort is not equal, where can you change? One, the leverage of that effort. How can you leverage it better? Two, to recap, how can you look at what other people have done in your situation and how they've strived? Third, evaluate, where are you going vision wise? Is this effort in the right direction or the wrong direction? I appreciate you for listening and tuning into this episode. I hope to catch you on the next episode. I'll see you there.